Hello and welcome to the next edition of the TMS podcast. I'm your host, Rayshawn and Buchanan, with my guy, fresh off his trip from Brazil. My guy, Omonira, is back in the building. So, Shay, how you doing this morning, man?
Man, I'm doing great. It's been a week since I've been back in the States. Honestly, I didn't want to leave. Brazil is amazing. Granted, just full disclosure, I went to Sao Paulo and I went to more of the richer part of Sao Paulo. So my experience could be different than other people's experiences. I know I didn't really see all the true Brazil. I probably seen the tourist part, but then I made an effort before I left back to the US to see the less touristy spot of Brazil, and that was still great of Sao Paulo. It was amazing.
I mean, the only place I've been to out the country is Jamaica, but just from seeing the videos you posted.
Want to go
there? Jamaica's dope. But seeing the videos that were being posted, I said my guy is out there living and having the time of his life. So no, that's good. It's funny. Go ahead.
I was going to say the food there. Absolutely amazing. And everything, at least for an American, is cheap because $1 US is worth $5 Brazilian. So,
okay.
A 2-hour Uber drive is for me from the airport. By the way, Sao Paulo traffic, absolutely crazy. Worse than Boston, worse than Atlanta, worse than LA. Absolutely crazy. That should have been a 47-minute drive, but because of the traffic from the airport to my hotel, it was 2 hours.
Wow.
But that was $22.56 in US dollars. That's how much it cost me for a 2-hour drive. That's how much it cost me.
Beautiful.
I had I know you saw my Instagram story. I had a meal of steak, eggs, rice, quinoa, potato chip, sweet potato chips, $10 US dollars. And the steak too. The steak was premium. This would have been $30 in the U.S. Everything's so cheap. The fruits, so much better. I had the best orange juice in my life. Right
around the tree, don't they? And just start squeezing that joke.
It felt like it was freshly squeezed before I sipped it. It felt like it was freshly squeezed 5 minutes ago. It was that fresh. It was that amazing. And fruits were great. The pineapples were great. I'll just find out. Pineapples are white. They're not yellow. They're yellow in the U.S.
That's so. I'm today years old. I didn't know that either. I didn't know that.
They're yellow in the U.S. and Brazil it was white. And guess what? It was juicier. It tasted better. The pineapple juice too tasted better. They also had pineapple juice with mint as well. That was great. I had a burger and fries on the less touristy spot before I left. That was $10, but they had premium. They use rib meat as half of the meat and some premium beef as another half of the meat. Combine that together, that would have been $20 in the U.S. Everything
easily
was beautiful. And look, I'm just going to say this: I know I haven't been in Brazil too long, but I've heard, at least I'm speaking specifically in Sao Paulo, I heard a lot about Sao Paulo being dangerous and everything. And honestly, I feel like it ain't worse than Atlanta. I'm just gonna be real with you. I feel like it ain't worse than Atlanta. I feel like if I could live in Atlanta, I could live everywhere. I already am I won't say the word street smart, but I know not to look like a target.
Right.
So I think knowing not to look like a target can help you get by in Sao Paulo, and then just don't do anything irresponsible, walking at night in a secluded area that you don't know. Just don't do anything like that. But as long as you don't look like a target, then I feel like you're good. Don't just have your phone out all willy-nilly or something.
Right, yeah, exactly. No, I think especially in light of what's really gone on really the last year or so, when people are going to Mexico and go other places and they have not come back to the States because of whatever's going on. But it's like I said, it's always dope to travel. It's funny because every time I think about São Paulo, I think about an old James Brown interview when he was high as a kite, and it's one of my favorite interviews because I probably watch it about 4 or 5 times a year, just to get a laugh because he's just saying it was he said, I'm going to São Paulo. this is a man's world. Like he's just yelling. So he's like, we're going to Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's like, I'm saying, get up off that thing. I'm gonna jam. so I always think about that. I wonder how people thought about him at that time when he went out there some years ago. But no, that's dope that you went out there. I hope to experience it. It'd be dope to even do a show out there at some point. We was to get out there. I know when the world what's that 2026. I'm sure that'll be one of the sites that they'll have something at. So
we probably got an extra listener too, because shout out to my manager Joe. He listens to the podcast as well. So
nice.
So we were actually talking about that like at dinner, like in our company dinner. And one of my Brazilian coworkers, shouts out to Mateus, he'll follow the podcast. So go and check it out.
Appreciate the support. So I was like, just keep spreading that word. Like I said, for those that this is your first time listening, thank you for tuning in, and we're on all major streaming platforms. So make sure that you give us a listen when you get the chance. So go ahead.
Well, I know we got to swing it to the NBA, but Sao Paulo is great. But to add to the,
I'm glad you got to experience that, man. Like I said, traveling. There's nothing there's not too many things that compare to traveling, especially when you go outside the country. I think obviously people, there's a lot of beautiful places in the U.S., but when you get a chance to see another country, to see how they move, see how they do things, like it's always pretty dope. So I'm glad you and others had a chance to experience that.
Yeah, first time out the country for me. And just to keep it on the sports topic, Mateus as well, he found out I was a huge soccer fan. So he let me get his Corinthians jersey. Corinthians, and I'm saying it the American way. I'm probably not saying it right, but it's one of the 4 clubs in Sao Paulo, 4 soccer clubs in Sao Paulo. So there's Corinthians, there is Palmeiras, there's Sao Paulo FC, and also Santos. So he gave me his Corinthians jersey. I told him I'm going to give him the Atlanta United jersey whenever we see him again, maybe in the States, maybe in a different country. But also had another coworker, Robson. He also gave me his Palmeiras jersey. Well, he bought a Palmeiras jersey off the mall, like when I told him I was a soccer fan. So at the same time, then he gave it to me. So I got a Corinthians Palmeiras jersey. I went to the mall to get a Sao Paulo jersey. Also, the jerseys there are cheaper than it would in the States because it was $80 US for me.
So was that? That was the mall. Yeah, that wasn't a museum y'all went to. Look, a museum y'all went to.
We went to multiple places. So the museum was the last day. The mall was earlier. I'm not sure if I took any photos of the mall. Yeah, I don't think I did, but
gotcha. Yeah, I was like, damn, like that's the mall. That's crazy. That it looks like that. It looked like a museum. No, that was
the
dope.
bottom. That was cool. The bottom floor of the mall, it was just like it's just full like restaurants. It wasn't like a food court. It was sit down restaurants in the bottom floor of the mall. So we went to a Middle Eastern restaurant, and during that same time, Robson, my boy Robson, he stepped out, went upstairs to go to the athletic store to buy a Palmeiras jersey for me and our boss.
Nice,
because we're both soccer fans.
Right? Yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope.
So I got them on Atlanta United jerseys. I got you.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. So yeah, like I said, but I'm also glad you got to experience that. So hopefully one day, we can all be out there at some point for sure. So yeah, like I said, we get into the NBA, man. It's playoff season. The seedings on both sides are now finally set. After last night, as we record this on a Saturday morning. So I'll start with the Western Conference. So we'll start with the 1-8 matchup. So I want to be clear. I don't think that there's any 1, 2, 3s like how we do in football. I do think there will be some short series.
Might be Atlanta. Might be Atlanta.
Might be, but,
that might be 1, 2, 3.
But Denver and Minnesota. Just what are your thoughts on that series? And just So what are your thoughts on that series?
I felt it was better for Minnesota to get the 8th seed than the 7th seed, so they won't have to be forced to play small ball because Memphis got no big man at the moment, so they are playing small ball. And I don't know how a Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert front court is actually going to work for them. So I felt like Denver was probably their best bet because, Aaron Gordon is a little undersized. So maybe 2 7-footers could take advantage of that. But then again, Aaron Gordon is a very good defender. They can stay on the floor with Jokic. I mean, Jokic steps outside, but they don't have to worry about being outpaced, having to camp out on the 3-point line. Even though Jokic does bring the ball up the court, that might be a little bit uncomfortable for Gobert, but they don't have to take them out. So I feel like that is the best case scenario for them. However, they're still going to lose. I feel like Denver is going to win in 6.
Yeah, no, I do think so. I mean, I don't know if he's healthy or not, but I feel like Naz Reid should make an appearance in the series. I think had they faced Memphis, I think Naz Reid would have played a lot more when they had to go smaller. Last night, I said that's we recorded this on Saturday. Last night, even though it was against OKC, that was a dream scenario for what Minnesota needs to play. Like, obviously, they're not going to do that for 4 games against Denver, but when you have the defense that Gobert played, Towns actually showed up last night, and then, Mike Conley has been what he's been throughout his whole career. To me, that was that's their recipe, right? I mean, granted, it's not going to be something where they're not going to the conference finals or they're not going to, the championship, obviously. But like you said, I do think they find a way to get 1 or 2 games if those guys show up. Once again, you better win at least a game after making a trade that you made. So it is what it is. But yeah, I agree. I think that 5 or 6 games tops, as the series goes. There's always someone that comes out of nowhere and grows up in the series. So we'll see who that is on either side. But yeah, I mean, listen, Jokic has been phenomenal once again this season. And I think they find a way. He finds a way, and then I think Jamal Murray starts to return back to form because he hasn't really been him all year. But I think that he takes it up a notch in this next phase in the postseason.
Yeah, so. The thing with Denver is just too much firepower because you got to worry about Jamal Murray, you got to worry about Michael Porter Jr. Aaron Gordon has been averaging like 16 to 18 a game this season, so he's been stepping up. You got to worry about Jokic, of course. You got KCP for the defense. You got Bruce Brown in the second unit for the defense. Yep. It's just too much firepower. Naturally, I would think this would be a championship contender, but I just don't know if they have the interior defense to win a championship because Jokic could get picked on defensively. So that might be a problem later on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely later on. I mean, obviously, they might be able to skate the first 2 rounds because, I mean, Ayton's not going to give numbers to or Plumlee. They're not going to give numbers to Jokic. Like, they may get a few points, but then they're not going to.
What happens if they go against the AD? That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
If AD stays healthy.
Right. So, I mean, so great segue, right? So, next matchup, so we have, the 2-7. So, we have the Grizzlies against the LA Lakers. So, just who do you have in that series, and how do you think that unfolds?
I'm going, you know what? I'm going to go with Lakers in 7. I'll say that Memphis will take them to 7, but look, Lakers had one of the best records, if not the best record in the league since the trade deadline. I'm not looking at this team as a 7 seed. Yeah. I'm looking at this team as a legit championship contender. This team completely changed after the trade deadline. They finally surrounded LeBron with shooters. Even though I know Malik Beasley hasn't been shooting it, he's still naturally a 40% shooter. He can get hot at any moment. Jared Vanderbilt covers what AD doesn't like to do, the dirty work sometimes. He can take the brunt. He can switch over with AD, can also allow AD to play center on offense. LeBron James, of course, we got LeBron back from his injury after having LeBron James' feet working on him. So, I mean, and Austin Reeves on AR-15, like, it's unbelievable. Like, look, Lakers, I don't get it. They'll have this like random white basketball player that all of a sudden, and it's not like they're bad or anything. They're very good. Alex Caruso, and they messed up by not paying him. Austin
Yep.
Reeves, who I thought last year was like, okay, he probably won't be getting much playing time in another team, but this year he's a legit starting two guard.
Mm-hmm.
He is a
Yep.
legit starting two guard.
Crazy.
They better not make the mistake they did with Alex Caruso, not pay him. Pay this man.
I think he should get the same type of deal that Caruso got, like the 3 year, 30. I think that would be perfect. Like he shouldn't get 50 or 60 mil, but 30 to 35 to 45 mil. I think that would be perfect.
Yeah, he's at least 15 mil a year. At least a 15 mil a year player.
I think Doug McDermott got a deal like that too. Fine, he's in that category. Give him that type of deal. And yeah, I'm with you. Like I did. I was a guest on another show last night, and I mentioned the same thing you said. But I said I wouldn't be surprised if either team wins the six. Like obviously Memphis is better on paper. Like that's not like to me. I think that's not debatable in that regard. I think just from top to bottom. But you cannot count out what LeBron has done. Anytime you think that he's not going to do a certain thing, like he usually finds a way to get it done. Is this the 2018 Cavs type team? No, but it's the closest comparison that we can make, especially with the moves they made after the trade deadline, as you alluded to. So I do think that at some point, they started taking up a notch, and obviously LeBron goes into playoff mode, as he always does at this time of the year. And I think, I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis wins a six, but I wouldn't be surprised if LA wins a six either. I don't even think it goes 7 either way. I think whoever team wins goes and wins in six there. But it should be an entertaining series. I'm sure that Dylan Brooks will be talking and
that's going to be fun. This is going to be Lance Stevenson
we'll see if Shannon Sharp, contains himself this time around for the series when they get there for games 3 or 4.
I'm excited for that.
Insane. That was crazy.
But when I say when a game's going to go to 7, it's going to go either way. So I won't be surprised if Memphis could win. But I got the Lakers in this because I feel like the Lakers, they're like possibly the best 7th seed of all time. So. Yeah. I won't be surprised if Lakers are winning this.
Yeah, well, no, the same can be said about the next series, right? So we have the 6th seed Golden State Warriors going into Sacramento at the 3 seed. Sacramento has been they've had a magical season thus far. The first time they've
made beam.
Yeah, like the beam, right? Like the beam, baby. It's the first time they've been in the playoffs since 2006. We were wearing Jabos and and Claire Air Force Ones.
Yo, I wasn't even in high school. Crazy. The last time they were in the playoffs. Oh my goodness.
I was a sophomore in high school with that team. So I was like, wow, like this is unbelievable to see what they've done. Mike Brown, to me, deserves Coach of the Year for what he's done out there. Once again, the elevated play of Fox, the elevated play of Sabonis. Like I know people were kind of in between on that trade when it happened because they felt like they gave up on Halliburton too early. I was in that category as well, but it's clearly been a win-win for both sides. And once again, to win almost 50 games this year, like I said, to be a top 4 seed in the West, that's a very deep Western Conference at that. So just what are your thoughts on this series? And who wins?
Well, I did say Lakers might be the best 7th seed of all time. Mm-hmm. And I love the Sacramento Kings. It was like my favorite league pass team, but they might be the worst 3rd seed of all time. Because they were fun to watch in the regular season, but I just feel like the playoffs are just not like it just doesn't work for their play style. Defensively, they're not really that great. They just score a lot of points. Very fun team to watch, but defensively, they're going to get picked apart. And the Warriors, they've been there, done that. Escaping the play-in, of course, was great for them. So I feel like the Warriors are winning in 5. And I hate to say it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm really wrong, actually, because I'm rooting for the Kings. But
facts. No, this is probably the closest 1, 2, 3 out of every series on either conference. And I know people have lamented the fact, and it's once again it's fact because of what they've done all year. Golden State has not been good on the road. Like the splits between home and road have been terrible. This is in California. This is going to be The crowd's going to be split. I don't know what they call the Kings Arena now, but I know for sure Sunday, like, it's going to be rocking in that building for game one for Sacramento. There has not been a better crowd silencer than Steph Curry the last decade. This is what he does.
But you know what's crazy? There's going to be a lot of Warriors fans there too. Like, the Bay's not too far from Sacramento, right? There's going to be a lot of Warriors fans.
I think Sacramento is so that's northern Cal. So, and then obviously, you know, they're in Warriors are in San Francisco now, but definitely a short trip back and forth. I think that might benefit both teams, but I do think, like, Sacramento, and it's wild because they have home court advantage, but I think this is just the truth. They have to find a way to split the first two games. Like, they have to, or win both, right? They have to find a way. If they don't split and Golden State finds a way to win both on the road, like I said, this will be over in 5, like 6 at the most. And it's just, and once again, it just goes back to experience. Like, obviously, you know, I think Harrison Barnes by far is the most experienced person on that team when it comes to playoff basketball. But, you know, I think Fox's first time, Sabonis' first time. Sabonis was there with Indiana a few years ago, but you know, that they got swept by Boston. So like, there's a lot of guys that this is new to them. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I tend to agree. This could either go either way, but there would be no shock to any fan that really watches basketball and knows how Golden State operates to see them turn it on and end this very quickly, because when they're locked in, they're as good as anybody that we've seen. And once again, that's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Still worried about their second unit. I don't know, because there's too much youth in that second unit, not enough experience. They do got Gary Payton back, so
I mean, that should help. I think him and Poole got to be those guys, right? Poole. I think Andrew Wiggins being back, like he has to be there. Like, I think that changes the dynamic for them defensively at the least. When he's at the wing position, so because like Clay unfortunately has lost a step. I mean, Draymond is Draymond defensively, but I feel like having Wiggins there, someone that's 6'8", and would be able to guard Fox, would be able to guard Herter off screens. I think that would be beneficial. To have him available for every game, not just coming back in game 3 and 4, but being available right away. Once again, people were speculating about what happened with him. Once again, it's none of our business what happened. I don't care what happened as long as him and his family are good. And that's all that matters to me. Like I said, I'm concerned with the play, and I want to see him out there, because I think, like I said, the best version of them includes him being in the rotation. So. Last but not least, in the Western Conference, we have the 4-5 matchup. My only disappointment with this matchup is that we're getting this in the first round. I would have loved to see this in the second round or even in the conference finals. But so we have Clippers and Suns in the first round. So just what are your thoughts on that series, and who wins that one?
Now the Clippers. No matter which iteration of the Los Angeles Clippers, are always unlucky in the playoffs. They're always going to have a star hurt. When back with the Lob City Clippers, it was either Chris Paul or one of Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. Now it's Paul George, and I feel like that might be the difference. Kawhi Leonard, surprisingly, is looking back to his old self. He's averaging he averaged in the regular season nearly 50, 40, and 90. And this is a guy coming off a torn ACL, coming back halfway through the season. Like you would think, like naturally he would have lost a step, but no, he's as skilled as he's ever been. Probably not where he is athletically, but he's still very athletic. But the thing is, the Phoenix Suns, come on, you got Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. What you going to do? How are you going to defend that? There's not 3 Kawhi Leonards. There was one close defensively to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but he's out. Yeah. How are you going to defend all that? Tell me. How and DeAndre Ayton? How are you going to defend all that? You can't.
Well, I mean, to me, like, DeAndre Ayton needs to grow up in this series. Like, I feel like he is someone that has the matchup advantage against Plumlee, obviously, and Batum, obviously. Batum in his day was a decent defender. I have to say this, right, as a quick aside. it's amazing to me how LA has rejuvenated his career, because he goes to Charlotte, basically becomes washed up. He's returned a little bit to what he was in Portland all them years ago. So it's unbelievable how being in that system has changed, or it brought back what he used to be to an extent. Excuse me. In that organization. So I love that for him, because once again, he was not a scrub. I just think that, sometimes when you give guys a max deal like that, more is expected, and he should have been he should have been I guess looked at differently than he was. But like I said, he's been phenomenal in that role for the Clippers. But technically the Clippers are deeper than Phoenix. But I do think that, I remember when the Celtics played Phoenix in early February, excuse me. And, guys like Ish Wainwright and Josh Okogie, Damian Lee, those guys came in here and did whatever they wanted. So obviously they got the addition of Terrence Ross. I love Terrence Ross. Once again, he hasn't done too much over there, but once again, you only need 1 game or 2 games for someone off the bench to dominate. So I think that they have enough pieces. Once again, Durant, Booker, and Chris Paul are going to be playing 35 minutes a game at least anyway. So it's not like where they're only going to play 25, 26 minutes. So I got Phoenix winning this series. I know if Aaron was on here with us, I think Aaron would pick the Clips, because I think he's rooting for Russell Westbrook to do, to get out the first round. Russ has played better and recently, since he got to LA. So maybe he wasn't the full problem over there, but at the same time, I still think a 5 for 18 game is coming, and it's not because of how they designed the defense. I just think it's because with him, he wants to win so badly that if things aren't working around him, he's going to say, "Okay, let me take this into my own hands." And that's when the demise is going to start to happen.
You know how far we come when our first topic is not talking about KD versus Westbrook.
Yep.
We didn't even talk about KD versus Westbrook.
Yeah.
That's how far removed we are, because both of them have went to so many different teams since OKC that we completely forgot. Like, oh yeah, KD versus Westbrook in a series. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
And it still should be fireworks. It still should be. It won't have the same flair as it did when he initially left. Like I said, I still think they should have played together. That's just me. I was joking on the show before that, when he was still in Brooklyn, I felt like they should have traded Russ up there. Because there's a part of me that still feels like them three should have ended their careers together. We've seen great trios. We've seen Bird, McHale, and Parrish. We've seen Worthy, Kareem, Magic. Like, you should be able to get that. I know it's a different era, but Sam Presti and those guys should have found a way to get that done. And it's unfortunate that it never, it didn't last past 2016. But like I said, overall, I'm excited about the Western Conference playoffs. I think it's going to be some great basketball up and down. And like I said, so let us know what you think when we drop this later on this weekend. So now over to the Eastern Conference. So the first says 1-8. So we have Milwaukee versus Miami. I'll start with this. I am actually happy that Miami is in the 8th seed, because are they going to beat Milwaukee? No, of course not. But Spoelstra's a good enough coach that he's going to coach them to 1 or maybe even 2 victories. They should be physical. It should be hard fought. And they're going to soften up Milwaukee a little bit, in my opinion. So I think that, Milwaukee ends up winning this series in 6. But like I said, unless Giannis goes Super Saiyan, then maybe they win in 5. But either way, this should be a shorter series for Milwaukee. But I'm just glad that, they get a physical team early on, so that if my Celtics do face them later on, or any other team face them, they're not as formidable as they were coming into the playoffs. So what are your thoughts on that series?
Well, to win against Chicago, Rayshawn, they had to have a Max Strus 30-point game.
Yep.
For them to win.
Crazy.
Is Max Strus going to score 30 points again? Probably not.
No.
So because of that, I got Milwaukee in 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like generally, Miami has been one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA this season. You wouldn't think that with Hero, Strus, and the man who is forgotten, who should be on the milk carton, Duncan Robinson. But yeah, they don't play Duncan Robinson. Max Strus has been consistent from 3. Tyler Hero hasn't had his best 3-point shooting campaign. And they don't really can rely on anyone else to really stretch the floor on that team. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be very important in the playoffs, especially with Milwaukee, when it seems like everybody except Giannis can shoot threes on that team. Right. So because of that, no matter how great of a coach Eric Spoelstra is, and he is one of the best coaches in the league, I got Milwaukee in 5. I mean, talent beats out coaching. That's why Clippers ain't beating the Suns, and that's why Milwaukee's going to win in 5.
Yeah, no, that's fair. My guy JB, he's a big time fan of this show. He lives in Miami. He's a fan of the Heat, diehard. Because he was asking, he's like, you think we got a chance? I'm like, not really.
Sorry, JB, your team is going to lose. Just be real. Your team is going to have a gentleman's sweep, 5-4-1.
Yeah, he knows that ultimately, like you say, he thinks that it's going to be Denver against the Celtics in the finals. He has Denver winning it all, actually. Which I thought was crazy, but it is what it is. But to me, I'm like, yeah, they what's happening now is what I thought should have happened last year, and that's why I was so mad that Boston it went 7 games. So I'm like, yo, I said this team, they struggle to score. This is not a team they're gonna put 130 on you. That they'll be lucky to get to 110. And, it's just like, once again, like you said, it took 30 from Jimmy, 30 from Max Strus. Kyle Lowry, talk about milk cart. You talk about Duncan Robinson. Kyle Lowry's been on a milk carton as well. Except for the game the other night. I mean, he dropped 30 the other night. But, he's basically, I'll let you say it. What has Kyle Lowry been since he got to Miami? I'll let you say it. It's your statement. Well, what has he been? He's been a
trash.
Oh, not trash. He's been a check stealer, right?
Check stealer. Oh, I can never claim that because that's not my statement.
You say it on this show. You say it on this show. You say it on this show. Yeah. He's been a check stealer. So that's just what it is. So he's been a check stealer. He's been a bastardo, trash, whatever word you want to use. So he got his ring and basically.
But hey, the first playing game, he had 24 points or something.
He was hooping. He had 33. Like he was going in.
Or 33. Yeah, 33. I was like, wait, Kyle Lowry in 2023 got 33 points.
But I think that's where fans, and I'm sure JB was saying that other fans was like, damn, like this is what we've been looking for. I mean, he's not going to get 33, but he's capable, obviously, of getting that moment. I thought he was like Kyle Lowry to me is a gamer. Like, he's not someone that's a scrub. He became a scrub once he got down there. Obviously, but once again, South Beach changes people. It changes people.
It's like Zion going to New Orleans. Like a person that's kind of like on the verge of like a cupcake from being an overweight type player. Like if you go to like cities where it's kind of hard to stay in shape, like me, like it's hard for me being in Atlanta, all that fried chicken everywhere. Like you got Miami, man. You got probably. I've never been to Miami, but like to see, yeah. It's bad. I can imagine the food is very good there. So like,
for sure, I'm sure from Snap. I mean, I'm talking about the hood stuff now, but I think about Snappers. I think about Captain Max. We don't have a Zax. They don't have a Zaxby's down in South Florida. There's only up in Jacksonville, but or Orlando on up, I should say. But yeah, I can imagine he's been at Prime 112. He's probably been at Cleveland there. He's probably been at Chat 40. Like there's so many spots that I'm sure that he's gone to. But I get it. Like it's phenomenal. Forget about the rest of Miami. South Beach alone has so many spots that you're just like, yo, like how do I stay healthy with all this?
I'm sure it was much easier in Toronto. I'm sure it was.
I'm sure it was.
So you gotta watch out for players like that. Like I'm saying, Zion in New Orleans. Like,
yeah.
Like, come on, you in New Orleans, all that seafood, crawfish. Like, you can't have Zion.
He clearly needs a change of scenery. Meaning, I'm talking about Zion. Like, he needs to change the quick aside. He needs to change the scenery at this moment. Like, to me, if you're gonna establish his career at this moment, and I know they just gave him an extension, mainly because they had to. Like, I mean, what are you going to do? You're let him walk. I do think you see what you can get for him. I really do think
no. Keep him because his value is pretty low for his abilities right now. No, you keep him.
Only reason why I say potentially just think of, I'm not saying to actually do it, but at least give it thought. What if you're not getting anything from him out the court? Like, once again, if it's just jersey sales, and I mean his tickets are terrible. His tickets are awful. Like Jordan Brand, I don't know what you're doing with his shoes. The Zion 1s and the Zion 2s look awful. Trash. Like it's just like it's the colors are cool, but other than that, the design of the shoe is terrible. So it's just like y'all playing with this man. Get him out of there. Get him to a place where he can really showcase something. Because like I said, there it's
like what's a very fit city he can go? New York. You got to walk everywhere.
There's great food in New York too, though. You know that.
But you got to walk everywhere. Like even for an athlete, like you don't want to drive there. Too much traffic. You won't have to take the subway. You're gonna have to walk.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe
Utah. Like what else is there to do in Utah?
Like that. Something.
You gotta go for a jog or something. What else is there to do in Utah?
No, that's facts. That is something like that. He can't go to Texas. He can't go to. There's a lot of places you can't go to, but to me, they got to figure that out. But yeah, that's hilarious. But so now we go to the to the next one. Is we have the ATL. We got the Atlanta Hawks facing the Boston Celtics. Man, I know a lot of Celtics fans were happy that the Hawks were the team that they got. I think we were not all of us, but collectively were. Nervous about facing Miami. I just think that Spoelstra would have coached circles around Joe Mazzulla. That's something I just firmly believe. I don't have nothing to base that off. I just think that that's just how it would have been, how it would have looked. The Celtics should win this in 5 games, and I only say that because I think the Celtics will win the first 3. I think Trey will go ballistic in Game 4 and keep them alive for Game 4. And then we wipe the floor with them in Game 5. So I'm sure your analysis is similar, but just what are your thoughts on
5 games? Five games. Yeah. I'm not even gonna hold you for this.
5
this
games.
This is possibly the worst matchup for the Hawks to have. Hawks' 2 best players are point guards. Celtics' 2 best defenders are point guards. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Derek White and Marcus Smart. Yeah, I don't like Hawks' chances in this, but I don't think it's going to be a complete sweep. I'll say it's a gentleman's sweep. So 4-1. 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1.
Trey Young will have a 30-point, 25, 9-turnover game that would somehow make them win. So,
right.
Exactly. DeJounte Murray have 21, 12, and 7, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take that. I said on another platform last night, I don't know what's happened to John Collins. I felt
when you got 2 guards that look for their own shot, what can John Collins really do? He's not a guy that creates for his own self. Like he needs service for him.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I think eventually, I mean, obviously he's been in trade rumors all the time. I do think eventually they say, you know what, yeah, you're a good player, but it's just like at this moment, we're not getting the ROI that we need on you. So
if you really think about it, yeah, like say this man's been in trade rumors for like 5 years now. It seems like
yeah. So
how motivated? Yeah, like how motivated are you to come to work when it's just like right. my name's gonna be in trade rumors again?
Yeah, I mean he's pretty cool too. Because I had a chance to meet them last year. When they came to Boston last year. And I'm like, the whole team was pretty chill. Almost too chill. Cause it was just
what about Trey Young? Did you meet Trey Young?
Yeah, Trey's cool. He took forever to get to the team bus. And this is like interviews are done. Like they got the whole catering spread out there, whatever. Like he's cool. But I'm like, he's like, bro, you want a sandwich? I'm like, man, I want you to get on the bus, dog. I don't like. I'll take a sandwich when y'all leave. Like, I don't care. Because I want to go home. It's late. Like, I want to leave. But no, he's super cool. John Collins is cool. Yeah, I forget who else I met on the team there, but yo, they're super cool.
You said last year. Did you ever meet Sharif? Or no, he was in a G League.
No, I think I think he was in the G League.
He was in a G League.
Time,
okay.
but yeah, but it's just like it's just my thing is it was amazing how calm they all were, and I'm like they were getting smacked at halftime, and I'm like there's no one would have been eating. Like I know, but I'm just like
they're getting paid.
I'm not being down 20, and I'm coming to locker room calm. Like I'm turning everything over at that moment.
Oh, I had a friend who worked at Madison Square Garden. This is back when Melo was with the Knicks, right? And she was telling me that, like, yeah, win, lose, especially when they were losing, like they didn't care because they're like, hey, I'm getting paid, so like they really did not care after the game. Like I think us fans, we put too much stock into players valuing winning. When at the end of the day, this is still a job. So like some players are just gonna be like, hey, like shit, I don't care. I got paid. I got my paycheck. I don't care.
Bradley Beal is the prime example of that now. Bradley Beal, and I
don't blame Bradley Beal at all. You see how much he getting paid? I'll stay in Washington too. I'll stay in Portland too if I'm Dame Lillard.
Don't come out there and make these great. The video he had for the AAO team was phenomenal, but don't come out and make them type of videos saying, "Oh, who's going to take my spot? Who's X, Y, and Z?" But then you can't even get into the play-in here and watch it. Like once again,
he's still an elite player though. Like he's talking about working hard to get to where he is, and to get to where he is to earn that money. He earned that money. Yeah, he could play for a winning team, but like that's not every player's motivation. He still works hard every day. He's still a hard worker to get to where he is to be paid over $50 million a year.
Right.
I don't blame him at all.
That part is
there's only so many years you could be a pro.
But no, that's true. I do think we'll eventually, and this is just a quick aside, we go back to the matchups in a minute, but I do think eventually we'll see. I do think this is the summer that Dame officially requests a trade. This is the most fed up I think I've seen him because for him to really just say, well, how many more times do I go through this? Like I think that this summer we'll get a notification from Woj, and done. Damian Lillard has officially requested a trade from the Portland Trailblazers, and then he'll give a list of 5 teams that's his wish list, and then we'll see if he ends up getting dealt.
If Gobert goes for 5 first-round picks, how much is Dame worth? That's what I'm wondering.
If I'm Portland, I'm asking for the same amount. Like, period.
Same amount? Like, no, I'm asking for a whole decade of first-round picks. If Gobert is getting that.
Everyone's not going to be as dumb as like you'd have to get more. You have to get more teams involved, I think, to get that many first-round picks. I know Stephen A. mentioned about him going to Philly. Would be a good.
I'm trying. If I'm Portland, I'm trying to get so many first-round picks where I'm getting a first-round pick for someone who's not even in the womb yet.
Right.
That's how many first-round picks I'm trying to get. If Gobert gets 5 first-round picks,
I'd like to see him. Trying to think somewhere. Like I said, people said Philly cool. I'd love to see him in New York. I know people have and we'll talk about the New York Knicks in a minute, but like I'd love to see him there in New York, maybe even.
That's what I'm saying. Knicks or Nets, because Knicks. They got Brunson.
Either one, honestly. I think that would be.
They got
cool.
Brunson.
Yeah, so he's better than Jalen Brunson. Let's be.
He's also much more expensive than Jalen Brunson.
Huh?
He's also much more expensive and older than Jalen Brunson.
Sure, but it's just like that. I'm 90%.
You can't play them together either. You can't play them together.
I'm 90% sure they'd be like, okay, if they could get Damian Lillard, they'd do it.
If I'm Knicks, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying maybe for me, but there's always what I always.
I don't think Knicks would do it either.
I mean, obviously, as long as Jalen Brunson's dad is there, and Brunson keeps playing the way he played, then they should be fine. So, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'll never fault folks for taking the bread, but it's just like, at some point, like I said, if you're saying. Clearly, Damian Lillard is frustrated. Like to say otherwise, it's a fact. Like he's pissed off, but they haven't done much. I think the last time they made the conference finals was 2019. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a long time in professional sports. So, they got to figure something out. But this is just a back to the Eastern Conference. So the next we have the 3-6 matchup, Philly versus Brooklyn. This probably be very similar to what happened a few years ago when they played in the playoffs. Although the teams there are differently constructed differently, I should say. Philly should win this in 5, 6 at the most. Joel Embiid he's played the best basketball of his career. So this is your first 1, 2, 3. You got this in the sweep. So I think
I'm just holding up 4 fingers.
Crazy.
For anyone not seeing, I'm holding up 4 fingers. That's it.
Yeah. I think this goes 5.
Just like what Kuzma said to Spencer Dinwiddie, if you didn't see it, that whole feud this week. This team,
that was weird. That was awkward.
Most of the good record was from the Kyrie and Kevin Durant Nets. So they've been under 5. I believe they've been under 500 since the trade deadline. So I got the Sixers in 4. I still do love this Nets team. Mikal Bridges, I feel like Suns are going to regret, if not already regretting trading him. I like Cam Johnson. I still like Spencer Dinwiddie. I like that whole feud was funny. Nick Claxton, University of Georgia. He's Defensive Player of the Year candidate, but I got the Sixers in 4. And Embiid is fed up. He wants to win.
I don't know if the only reason why I say 5 is I don't know if Philly always plays with the urgency that they need to play with.
That's why I feel like this is going to be different, because Sixers, Embiid, Harden, they've been here so many times. I feel like now they want to prove a point. Yeah. So I think they're going to make a statement.
Yeah, they better. They better find a way to get that together. So we'll see. Either way, it's going to be a short series. So then last but not least, I think this is personally, in my opinion, this is the probably most even series of either conference in this first round. So we have the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks. Once again, we just talked about Jalen Brunson a few moments ago. He has been phenomenal. We did a show with Chelsea Sherrod over the summer, and Chelsea and Aaron had basically mentioned that Brunson would be a good signing. I did not think that he was worth 110 at the time. I would have gave him 4 years and like $85 million, but he definitely has shut me up. I wasn't paid now. I won't say he made me a believer, because I thought he was a decent player. I just didn't think that it was worth over $100 million. Guys, I feel like
I felt it was fair, because I think what we failed to realize, I know this is football, but it's just like OBJ getting $15 million guaranteed, $18 million a year. He's the 22nd best wide receiver. I mean, not 22nd best, 22nd highest paid wide receiver in the league. 22nd. We don't realize how much inflation year by year goes up. Right. Brunson wasn't nowhere near the highest paid point guards when he got that $20 million a year, and he was paid as much as Anthony Simons. And Anthony Simons, even before that season, I would say Brunson was on his level at least, if not better. Yeah. I would have told you that, because I saw all I needed to see last year. Yeah, I saw all I needed to see last year when Luka went down in the playoffs and he beat the Utah Jazz.
Right.
So now
that's fair. That's fair.
So now Donovan Mitchell, he needs to get his revenge, because now he's on the Cavaliers. You have the domino effect. The butterfly effect. Knicks didn't go out to get Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell goes to Cleveland. Now they're playing the New York Knicks in the playoffs. So, I think it's going to be Donovan Mitchell. He's going to have that chip on his shoulder. He's going to go off. I want to see it in 7. I won't be surprised if it goes to 7, but I think they're going to make sure they finish the job. Cleveland in 6.
Yeah, no, I'm with you with the prediction. I think Cleveland wins this series as well. They're deeper from top to bottom. I think that, like you said, Donovan Mitchell has something to prove. I like Mobley. I like Garland, obviously.
Do you like Okoro?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Like his game. Does he start for me? Come off the bench? I'm not sure.
He's a starting 3.
He's starting 3. Okay, cool. So So everyone on there has progressed from the beginning of the season to now. So it's been cool to see, and I think that they have a team there that can be successful, not just this season, but going into the future. But yeah, once again, evenly matched. Good. Both teams that coach well.
I think will be the most entertaining series.
Say that again.
I think it's going to be the most entertaining series because the crowd, the Knicks crowd, is going to make it so fun.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be most entertaining series.
It's going to be wild when Mitchell dropped 40 in the Garden. Everybody's going to be like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, they're going to boo. They're going to cuss at them. Like I love Knicks fans, like because they're so funny. They're so overreactive. I love it.
Crazy.
It makes for great TV.
It does. I mean, remember a couple years ago when Atlanta played them, and
yeah,
Trey hit got that floater. It's quiet as fuck.
I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. That's why I love seeing the Knicks in the playoffs. Not like I particularly like the Knicks, but like I just love seeing the Knicks in the playoffs because their crowd gives a different atmosphere.
Yeah, Bill's gonna be on fire. Cleveland's gonna be on fire too. That's a very loud.
Crowd. Yeah.
Too. So, I'm excited to see what they do. So, that wraps for every series. So, just two things before we get out of here. So, who do you have as your MVP, and then who do you have in the finals?
Well, as the MVP, I'm just going to go by a narrative. I think Joel Embiid is going to win an MVP. I feel like defensively, he's been a game changer. Offensively, he's the NBA leading scorer. So he's going to win MVP. And you said championship?
Yeah.
He's going to win a championship?
No. I mean, you have to give a pick. Just say, who do you think is going to be in the finals?
Who I think is going to be in the finals? I think this has been the hardest year to predict who's going to go out of the finals for the West because the West has been so open. I'm not convinced in the top 3 seeds that they're going to the finals. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say it's going to be Celtics versus Lakers. I'm going to get the old rivalry because I want to see that. Celtics versus Lakers in the NBA Finals.
Nice. That would be crazy. Yeah, that would be crazy. Honestly, I would love that. But I have Embiid as the MVP as well. I thought that, like I said, once again, he's played the best basketball of his career. I think that like you said, the narrative has been pushed that it's his time. He's been very close the last couple of years. I think his statements have been very contradicting as to whether he wants to win it or not. But listen, it matters to him. Like let's be real. It matters to him to win. I think that's the first stepping stone. To what he wants to accomplish this season.
Didn't he say a quote that he says that he cares about winning MVP and that every player that says that they don't care are lying to themselves?
Yep. Yeah,
I mean, it's true. It's true. Like, I'm glad he actually said that because, like, people say like they don't care about MVP. Like, no, like you care about it.
I don't. Because people.
No, but I'm talking about players, like players winning it, like saying they don't care about it. Like, no, stop lying, stop capping. You care about it.
No,
like,
facts.
Just say it.
Because early in the year when people was like, oh, when Tatum was the front runner early on, and then obviously he dropped off because some games he just didn't show up in. And I'm glad he fell off the race. I'm like, I don't care. Get the finals MVP. That means that you win the championship. I don't care about the regular season joint. So
we see Shaq to this day. Like when Steve Nash was coach of the Brooklyn Nets, it's like, Steve Nash, I still hate you for taking my MVP. I should have won it that year. Like we still get that.
Right. No facts. So, that's cool. Once again, get the finals MVP, JT. That's where I'm at. I don't care. I don't care how that happens. Once again, get Embiid deserves it, or if Giannis or Jokic gets it, they deserve it too. It's fine. One of those 3, I'm totally okay with. So you got something like it. So for me, like I said, got Embiid winning it, and then for me, I've said this and I'll keep saying it on any platform I'm a part of. I believed all year this has been the 2014 redemption tour or type tour for the Celtics. I want the rematch. I want Golden State. so I want Celtics Warriors. I think we'll do what San Antonio did to Miami that year as well. That we'll beat them in 5. It's their time. That we have paid the dues. We have conference finals. Like we've gone through the gauntlet. It's time we're due. It will not feel the same. Also, it would be great to be LeBron James. Let me put that out there. It'd be great to be him. But it'd be I want Golden State because like I said I was on the floor. that man Draymond Green was in my face saying, "I got 4, motherfucker. Look me dead in my eye." This is personal to me. I want Golden State. I want Golden State here in June against us, and I want you to confetti.
That is so funny.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Of course it's funny, but I was heated. I was so heated. So I'm like,
laughing.
I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure. Like we gotta get back there. They gotta get back there. Like I want the rematch, real bad.
You just a random bystander trying to do your job, mind your own business. He just comes to you, look at your face, saying, "I got 4, motherfucker."
I'll never forget. Once again, like I said,
calls you a motherfucker. He doesn't even know you.
Crazy.
First time he ever said words to you, called you a motherfucker. Damn.
No, but and I said, because people was like, I'm like, dog, he was talking crazy. Like Festus Ezeli was there too, which I don't know if he was a part of the organization. I guess he was just there to support them because they were teammates before. But he was talking crazy. Clay was talking crazy. Like it was wild to see.
What about Steph? Because Steph is looking trash talker.
Steph didn't say too much. Hell yeah, like he was hype. But like Clay, Jordan Poole, like Draymond, like they was talking wild on the floor. And I mean, like it was such a sickening feeling to watch. And now, for the presentation of the 2022 NBA Champions, your Golden State Warriors, I was hot. I was hot. So I'm like, yeah, it's personal. I want Golden State. It's like I want Iguodala. No, I want Golden State for sure. So let's get into final words. So I'll let you start with final words.
I mean, well, this week has been the week of punching your own teammates. So we all know about Rudy Gobert using that 90-inch reach on Kyle Anderson, but barely grazing him on the chest. For Kyle Anderson, repeatedly, mind you, calling him a bitch. Now, I don't mind Rudy Gobert doing that. It's just doing that when all the cameras are on you, that's a problem. He should have handled it like Sadio Mane handled Leroy Sané in the Bayern Munich locker room. German soccer club, Bayern Munich. Sadio Mane punched Leroy Sané, landing him a 500,000 euro fine, and he's currently suspended for the time being. And he was apparently about to get terminated, his contract terminated. Mind you, this is one of the star players of the team. But Leroy Sané told Bayern Munich, no, don't terminate his contract. So the man who got punched told Bayern Munich not to terminate his contract. So, but it just reminds you, like, when can you punch your teammate? Because Sadio Mane tried to handle it right. He didn't punch him when the cameras could see him. He punched Leroy Sané in the locker room. So I was saying that Rudy Gobert should have just handled his business with Kyle Anderson in the locker room, but apparently you can't do that. So what can you do?
Crazy. Yeah, that was wild. When I saw that, I'm just like, what is wrong? Like, you can't do that. Even Bones Highland, I think, and Plumlee got into it too. It's just like
that's the thing. Bones Highland should be thanking all of them, even the soccer players too, for doing that, because nobody talks about that. That would be wild as well. Nobody talks about Bones Highland and Mason Plumlee. Nobody talks about them.
Crazy. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, that to me, like it would have been a problem because I'm thinking you're gonna have to see me in the locker room. Like we're not. I don't care about what's going on in the court. You're not going to dog me in front of everybody and think that I'm not going to respond. So, slow mo, I would have responded. Granted, I'm not mad at it.
I assume Sadio Mane didn't punch Leroy Sané and graze him on the chest. I assume it was a haymaker to the face because that was a 500,000 euro fine. So
that's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot of money. It's a lot. So for my final words, I'm going the route of just making sure that people go out to support. Right. So we're in the era where we talk about so and so's not supporting this, so and so's not supporting that. Y'all need to support X, Y, and Z. Well, it's free to support this. A lot of you have asked to be on this and do that. And I'm like, well, how do you want to be a part of X, Y, and Z when you're not even subscribed to the YouTube or you're not following the show? And like I said, I have no issue saying that on there because I'm just like, it's wild to me that you want to be a part of something that you're not actively supporting. So I say this, it's free to support. It's free to just spread the word about what's going on here. We are closing in on a milestone of 25,000 streams. So that should happen very shortly. So I'm excited to get to that moment. As I've always said, this whatever we're about to do is impossible without the audience that listens to us. So we're forever thankful, but we're still looking to expand. Like I said, we're getting better with each show, in my humble opinion. So like I said, continue to support on YouTube, continue to support on any other major streams, and as always, Black Lives Matter, not just when it's convenient for you. So for Seyi, Omonira, Hollywood, Rayshawn, Buchanan, and until next time, we'll see you. Peace.